let's talk about how we talk to each other. You know those really difficult conversations? The ones that just leave you feeling totally wiped out? Well, today we're going to unpack a really powerful framework that can bring a ton of clarity and help you engage without completely burning out.
You know the feeling, right? You jump into a discussion online, you've got your facts ready to go, and then the whole thing just goes off the rails. Emotions get dialed up to 11, facts and feelings get all tangled up, and you step away just feeling exhausted, like you just ran an emotional marathon. Yeah, we've all been there.
So, to really build this framework, we're going to anchor it with a fantastic example. On one side, you have Savitribai Phule, a real person from history. And on the other, you have Saraswati, a deeply revered mythological symbol. And believe it or not, understanding the massive difference between these two, well, that's the key that unlocks this entire way of thinking. And that difference, it brings us right to the bedrock of this whole framework. Reality first, symbol separate. It's all about creating two different mental boxes. One box is just for reality, for stuff that actually happened. And the other box, that's for symbols. The ideas, the beliefs, the things we hold dear.
Let's pop open that first box, history. Or, reality. This is all about real people who did real things that had a real impact on the world. For example, it is a simple historical fact that Savitribai Phule and Jyotirao Phule started schools for girls and kids from lower castes. That's a real event. It's verifiable. Okay, now for the second box, the symbol. A symbol is all about representing an idea, a concept, a value. Saraswati, for instance, is an incredibly powerful symbol of knowledge and learning. But, and this is the part that matters most, a symbol isn't a historical person. A symbol represents an ideal. It doesn't physically build a school. All right, so we've got our two boxes now, history and symbol. So what? How do we actually put this to use in a real conversation? Well, let's get into the toolkit and see how this idea builds out into some super practical rules for engaging clearly. This whole toolkit really just has 3 core steps. First up, you have to distinguish the rules clearly, who actually did something versus what just represents an idea. Second, and this is a big one, you gotta avoid those sloppy generalizations. And third, you learn how to share what you think in a way that actually moves the conversation forward. Now, let's talk about a trap that is so easy to fall into. It's that language of overgeneralization. You've heard it a million times. Oh, all people back then thought this way, or everyone from that community believes, These phrases are just lazy shortcuts that totally erase how complex reality is, and they just kill any chance of a good conversation. So what's the solution? It's almost laughably simple, but wow, it is effective. Just be precise with your language. Instead of saying, all people, try saying some sections or certain groups. That tiny change forces you to be more accurate and stops the whole thing from spiraling into these huge, messy claims you can't even defend. But look, this isn't just about having smarter arguments or proving you're right. The real payoff, the real win here, is actually internal. It's about protecting your own peace of mind, your own mental energy. Think of it as a strategy for staying engaged with the world without letting it completely drain you. And at the absolute heart of protecting your energy is this simple but really profound equation. It's clarity plus respect. This means you can be completely 100% clear about the facts, about reality, while also being totally respectful of the other person and what they believe. They are not mutually exclusive. You can do both. So, what does that actually look like when you're talking to someone? Well, it means no abuse. You don't start throwing insults around. But it also means you're not silent about the truth. You don't just throw facts out the window to keep a false sense of peace. And finally, it means you don't go looking for fights. You engage when it actually matters. And this brings us to what might be the single most liberating piece of this whole framework. Ready? Your job is not to convince the other person. Your only job is to state the truth as you see it, clearly and with respect. Once you really get that, you can let go of that massive, heavy burden of trying to change someone else's mind. So look, if you take only one thing away from all of this, let it be this core principle. Keep your reality clear, keep your symbols separate, keep your expression calm, and above all else, keep your energy protected. At the end of the day, this framework is just a tool. We've used it on one example here, but its real power comes from how you can apply it everywhere. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. What other tangled, complicated, emotionally charged topics in your own life could get a little clearer if you just separated what's real from what's a symbol?